Welcome to week 4. It took me 3 weeks to make this video. On Sunday, we decided to get creative. Jonas got the idea to capture underwater movement. It had been rainy and gray for so many days that this bright and sunny Sunday was not to be wasted. Between the flowy stuff I owned and my hair, we decided that a photo shoot at the pool would be a good idea.
We chose some loose, flowy clothing. Jonas cleaned off his Joby CPAL iPhone waterproof housing. I put on makeup for the first time since we left the US. We grabbed goggles and headed downstairs to set up. Once we were in the pool, Jonas would direct me. Relax your face, open your eyes, smile, legs to the right, move the skirt around, etc. Here are a few shots that we captured. I realized it's pretty hard to have a relaxed, soft face underwater. Over the years, I've become unable to keep water from flowing down my nostrils into my throat. I would choke on water each time I came up for air.
We decided to add my scarf that's full of skulls and crossbones, as well as this sweet, sweet resin skull made by this talented resin artist in San Diego. I put her IG handle in the description of the video, so check her page out if you have a chance. My hair, the scarf, the skirt made for some really beautiful underwater movement. So much for the random sunny day we were having. As we were in the pool, it started to rain, like a lot. We thought about getting out of the pool for a second until we realized there was no lightning, so we stayed in the pool and enjoyed being surrounded by water. Now, you saw the photos we captured. You haven't seen the videos. Here's the final product that we put together. I hope you enjoy watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. On Wednesday, I woke up with a sore throat and non-stop sneezing. I haven't been that sick since, I don't know, a long time ago. We had a flight to Mexico City that afternoon. After a morning of not feeling well, we headed to the Tulum airport. We only live about 12 miles away, but the cab company quoted us 1,100 pesos, which we were able to negotiate down to 900 pesos, which comes out to about $50 for 12 miles. Anyway, This airport just opened 7 months ago. It's absolutely gorgeous. It looks new, it smells new, it's not crowded, but this is currently the off season. I can only imagine what the high season will be like.
Once we arrived, we proceeded to security. It took us approximately 9 entire minutes to get from the airport doors after the taxi dropped us off to get to our gate, security included. The first restaurant we saw was Le Pain Quotidien. I haven't seen one of these since New York City. And now, here, in the middle of the airport in Tulum, wild. This airport was basically built by mowing down a section of thick jungle and laying down concrete. As you drive into the airport, there are signs to watch out for wild jungle cats, monkeys, and agoutis. They're a relative of the capybara. Growing up in the US, all I've ever done to board a plane is to walk through a jetway that leads you right into the door of the airplane. What I love here is that when it's time to board, you walk down a super long ramp to outside. Whether you're arriving or departing, everybody walks to the plane or from the plane outside. But this time around, I just felt sick and I really didn't care that we were walking outside.
Once we landed in Mexico City, we walked over to the taxi services area and we found out that we were an hour away from where we're staying. I never realized how big Mexico City is. It has 16 boroughs, it's the 6th largest metropolitan area in the world, and it's home to almost 22 million people. Once we got our cab situation figured out, we walked outside and we were hit with a completely different climate than Tulum. We neglected to research anything about Mexico City. Coming from the jungle, we were in tank tops and shorts only to be met with San Diego type fall weather. So I was freezing. It was about 15 Celsius at an elevation of 2,200 meters. Tulum is 5 meters. We didn't bring the right clothes, we didn't bring enough clothes, and we didn't realize the air was gonna feel so much thinner. Anyway, here's some footage of our ride to the Airbnb.
Once we got in the cab and we were headed to our Airbnb, I tried to capture some of the interesting sights that I could see out of the window. Like this truck full of pigs. Here's the building we're staying in for the next 4 days. We arrived to the spot once the sun went down. And once we got up to our room, we got to see the city lights illuminate the sky. The Airbnb was small, but the view was spectacular. My cold only got worse the next day. We bought a bunch of different meds to keep my symptoms at bay. I've always wanted to see Mexico City. Now, I just want to lay in bed.
After breakfast and meds, we started our day with lots of tissues, sneezes, and no cell service. Backstory, Jonas uses Verizon, I use T-Mobile. I keep my cellular off for reasons I won't explain here. So when we're out in the town, we rely on his Verizon service. Now, day 1, in Mexico City, he has no phone service for some reason. The Verizon website wouldn't load. The Verizon app was stuck on a white screen. We couldn't get in touch with Viking or Dan, the other boxing coach, if we were to leave our Airbnb. We're all here in Mexico City for this event, and we need to find out where they'll be, when we need to meet up, where we're gonna go to do some pad work and training for Viking before the fight.
So we spent the morning on the phone with Verizon customer support. Verizon ended up having a technical glitch that affected all of their international customers.
A couple of weeks ago, we learned that only specific cell carrier locations can activate an eSIM. So the closest to us here in Tulum was in Playa del Carmen, which is an hour cab ride from here and who knows how many pesos. Now that we're in Mexico City, there's tons of locations that will activate a Mexican number for me. So with Jonas having no service and me needing service, we headed to the mall. We took a 30-minute walk to a mall that had a Telcel store in it. Here are some things we saw along the way. Mexico City. So at this point, I am sick with more than one issue. We spent every day leading up to the fight in bed in the Airbnb. But one of the days, regardless of being so sick, I wanted out. We decided to walk to Frida's house. It was only 30 minutes from where we were staying and we were both really excited to see it. Once we left the apartment and got walking, it hit me how weak and sick I actually was. I had to run into some shops to use the bathroom, but I wanted to explore Mexico City. Here's our walk to Frida's house. We neglected to remember it was Saturday. There were lots of people around and there was a line to get into the museum. So ultimately, I felt too sick to go inside. Wow.
That's why.
It's the day of the fight, and nothing starts till 6 p.m. Jonas brought his Mongol for Viking. A mongkol is a headpiece worn by Muay Thai fighters upon entering the ring. It's given to a boxer by their trainer. We walked over to the venue, the Gimnasio Olímpico Juan de la Barrera. Fun fact, the stadium hosted the Summer Olympics and the arena seats over 5,000 people. It's also home to professional basketball in Mexico City. As a cornerman for Viking, Jonas had to go into the venue from the side 2 hours before the event even started, and I wasn't allowed in yet. I was given a ticket, but I had to wait in line with everybody at the front. Luckily for us, this worked out well, as my stomach wouldn't let me stay far from a bathroom for too long. So once Jonas headed backstage, I headed back to the Airbnb. It was only a 3-minute walk from the stadium, so I felt good about it. It was daylight, so I spent about an hour at the Airbnb and then headed back to the stadium to see the fight.